The Speakers Bureau vision statement. Speakers Bureau Club is a Toastmaster club that serves as an incubator for aspiring professional speakers and a workshop for those currently practicing the craft. I first joined this club as a charter member. That means I was one of the first 20 who became a member. We met over at the booth across from the Davis Hospital. And it was a great club, had tremendous enthusiasm and energy. I think we had like 30 members. A lot of them were accomplished speakers. We had very strong goals, a lot of really wonderful programs. And it kind of fell away. I came back about 4 years ago, committed to developing a professional speaking career. And at that time, I thought that's what I really wanted. And I thought, well, the Speakers Bureau is the best place for me to do this. So I came back to the club and was part of the leadership, and we had really great structures in place to help people develop the careers. One of them was you had to speak a certain number of times outside the club. You had to have a one sheet completed, and we had training on it, and it all kind of petered away. So today, as far as regular continuing members in this club, this morning we have 2. And where have all the rest gone? Well, a few went on to get jobs for companies, organizations, in training, in promoting I think of one person who went to work for a nonprofit through the training that she got in this. Another person used this club to develop her career as a professional comedian. But I would say about 95% of the people, like myself, who came in, have moved on and have never done anything in the field of professional speaking, or even really accomplished speaking. And the question comes up, why? Well, Victor and first of all, I'm not making anything wrong. Let's back up for a second. You know, when an organization sets a goal to accomplish something and they fail, the failure isn't that the people are failures. It could be, or usually is, something in the process, the structure. Something isn't working. And what we want to do is look at it, see if we can determine what it is and tweak it or change it. And that's my goal this morning, is having been a Toastmaster for 20 years, I've been an area governor, I've been to numerous, I think I've probably joined 20 over that, or at least 15 over the last 20 years. So I have chosen, after I had a great coaching visit with Victor a few weeks ago, and I was looking at my life and thinking, I really haven't done anything in my speaking ability and my speaking career, and I thought, I really want to do something. So I sat down and talked with Victor, and through this conversation, I got present to what I really would like to do. So I looked and said, okay, well, now that I know what I really think I want to do, how do I do it? And it went back to the Speakers Bureau, because it really has the format to help a person develop their career. I say the format, the potential. It has the potential. So what's missing? Well, we heard a speech a few weeks ago by Diane, who is an area governor, been a Toastmaster for many years, and she talked about growing clubs. And out of this presentation that she gave, here's what came out of it for me. You see, as a club, we cannot motivate you. We cannot motivate a member to go out and do anything. We can't cause you to transform your life. Would you agree with that?
Right.
Can't do it. So what can we do? There's one thing we absolutely have control over, and that is how well we run this club. That's what we can control. Because you see, the Toastmaster program, in fact, she's coming in right now, and I really want to acknowledge her. Come in. Yes, we were just talking about you.
Good.
So, Diane gave the speech a few weeks ago about the Toastmaster program. and why it works. So what is the Toastmaster program? Well, it's a structure. And I want to talk for just a minute about structures. So, a big thing today in health is exercise. So let me ask you a question. Imagine that every day, 3 times a week, you went to the gym and for 20 minutes, you exercise. You just did one exercise, whatever it is, something with weights, right? 3 times a day, 20 minutes for 3 months. How many of you would say at the end of 3 months, there would be no measurable difference in your body? Anybody? No. Because you see, it's impossible not to change if you follow the structure. That's what makes good structures successful. And the reason Toastmasters has been around for 80 years is because the structure of the club format is so good that when you follow it, you create great results. And one of my favorite stories is about Anna, who worked for a company, and almost all men, and there was a lot of engineers and scientists, and then the salespeople, a lot of big ego, strong personalities. She felt terribly intimidated. She joined a club, and after a year, one day her boss called a meeting, and this was with all of these big egos and everything. And Anna told me she was terrified when she heard, let me back up. She wasn't terrified of that. That was another story. They had this meeting, it was an important meeting, and the boss couldn't come in. They didn't have cell phones, so he stopped at a payphone, called, said he was going to be late. So they're sitting around the table, all these, employees of the company, and they all have things to do. And she took her Toastmaster experience, and she said, okay, we're going to run this meeting. She did an agenda. She designated, responsibilities, who would do what. And about 30, 40 minutes later, the boss comes in, he's all hectic, and, oh, this is a bad day. He walks in, and everything is running fine. So he sits down, and he just is, oh, go ahead, Anna, go ahead. And so she runs the meeting. She had a secretary who took notes, gave it to the boss. The sum of the story is this. She not only, I don't know why I get so emotional about it, but, this is the power of changed lives. It really is. And that's what this is about, changing lives. So later on, she got a promotion. Now, that's another fantastic story. But why? Why did it happen? Recently, I did some testing for ADHD. Not a big deal, but one of the things I learned is that the problem with ADHD is that the individual has trouble with executive functions. Executive functions. Organization, time management, priority decisions, things that we need to do effectively in order to succeed. And I realized as I'm watching this and listening that Toastmasters teaches anyone who follows the format executive functioning skills. And here's the point. If you do the program like your muscles, you have to learn the skills. Period. You see, if you have a successful Toastmaster program, you will develop successful Toastmasters. Guaranteed. Would you agree, Diane?
I agree wholeheartedly.
So, looking at Speakers Bureau, I said, we want to forget the content. I don't care what anybody talks about. If we're going to accomplish our goals in helping people develop skills as professional speakers, we need a format that works. And then we follow the format. So I have some things I'd like to suggest. Not that this is absolute, but it's in conjunction with the Toastmaster program. These are elements in the structure. Some are already here. Some we can kind of take and tweak it. The first thing is we need an educational moment. I've noticed the times that I've come back, people don't have the skills on how to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, and that's no reference to anybody. How to handle the lectern, how to do what's called an exchange when you have a speaker coming up. These are basic skills, but if you don't learn them, what happens is we stumble around because we don't know what to do. So my first suggestion is an educational moment, and just a moment. It only takes a minute to explain the basic element of some part of the Toastmaster program. Second, Master of Ceremony contacts every person on the agenda before the meeting. And you've got telephone, email, and texting. And the purpose is, when you're the Master of Ceremonies, you're running the club. This is your meeting, and in this process of being the master, people learn leadership skills that you don't learn anywhere else. And these are the skills that helped Anna that day in the office. We need to have new members voted in. And I think, and one of the reasons for people not familiar, if you don't vote them in, you can't kick them out. And there are many horror stories in the last 80 years of clubs who have literally disbanded so they could get rid of a person because they couldn't vote them out. So that would be the first thing. But in addition, when a person becomes a new member of the Speakers Bureau, they write out what the goal they want to accomplish by being a part of the specialty club. See, and that gets them focused. What is it that I want to walk away from? I would like to see us treat each meeting as a paid event. You see, it says in our vision statement that it's for aspiring professional speakers. Well, aspiring means highly motivated. Well, if I'm highly motivated, if I'm going to a speaking engagement and I'm being paid, 1, I'll be on time. 2, I'll have an introduction. And 3, I'll be dressed professionally to stand before an audience. So I would like to see the club incorporate a requirement that if a person's going to be a speaker on a particular day, they meet those 3 requirements. And if, for example, they're not on time, then if somebody else is here who has an introduction, a prepared speech, and is dressed and ready to go, that they will speak in place of the person who didn't show up. Now, if you're going to be less than 5 minutes late, they can call and announce they're going to be late. But if it's more than 5 minutes, then we allow somebody else to speak. We treat the club like being up here is important, and then it becomes important. There was a saying I learned in Dale Carnegie. If you act enthusiastic, you will be enthusiastic. If you act enthusiastic, you will. And you do this until you're really enthusiastic. But what this is based upon is the simple concept. You can't wait until you feel like it to do it. You do what you need to do, and the feelings will come. So if we treat this club like it's important, like I value your time, you're coming here to listen to me and to evaluate me, and if I treat you with respect, then it makes the whole experience more valuable for everybody. The final thing I would like to address is how we evaluate. And that's one of the hallmarks about it, the Speakers Bureau. It always has been. Our evaluations are more involved, and you have more experienced Toastmasters, though I have to admit, a lot of you are new. And that's okay, but we're not really following the format that the members have to belong to another club. And I think we really need to evaluate that is the strength of this program. So what I'd like to see us do is take and create an evaluation form that really makes a difference. I belong to a writing workshop on Friday nights, and I've been doing it for a number of years, and they have a certain way of evaluating what you write and giving you feedback that you can then take and incorporate into the way you do it. We can develop a way of evaluating a speaker that they can see how they look to the audience and make changes accordingly in content, in delivery, in the structure. In other words, we can create and have created professional quality speakers. And that has to be our commitment to ourselves and our commitment to each other. I think of this community bike I saw in Old Sac a few weeks ago. I don't think I've ever seen one in person. I think I've seen them in the travel documentaries. It's a bike, and you've got like 7, 8, 10 people on 2 rows. So everybody's sitting there, and their legs are all moving. Now, you don't know how many are actually pushing, but the point that I liked was, if you're on the bike, you'll get to the goal. And that's what I think this club should be about. If you come into this club and participate, you're going to reach your goal. So while most of the regular members are not here, I throw this out to you because if you're interested in seriously developing career or professional skills, this is the place to do it, and you can help make it happen. So I appreciate your teaching not to say thank you, but I do thank you for being here, and I thank you for your attentiveness and your listening. So thank you, Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry, Mr.